Hello, everybody, and good evening on a Friday. Today, I am making Southwest taco chicken. Now, I have everything mostly prepared, so I want to show you what I did. I took the chicken and I cut it to where it's kind of checkered board, and I put my spices on it. I also have some diced Anaheim peppers, some garlic, and some regular diced white onions. You can use anything you want, any hot pepper you want, any kind of onions you want. This is what I use. I also have cold butter. Butter is going to be for the sauce. I'm going to make a Southwest style sauce. It is being made real time, so I hope you enjoy the video. And I'm going to do it from start to finish. So first I'm going to do is, before I get the chicken going, is I will be getting the sauce ready to go. So what I have here is 8 ounces of hot water, and then I have a chicken bouillon, because that's going to go for the sauce. So I have 8 ounces of water, which will take about a teaspoon of the bouillon, and I put it into the hot water to get it going. Now, make it as heavy as you like as you like, because it won't really matter, because once it gets into the pan, it's just going to be a nice lime sauce is what I'm making. Get that all nice and dissolved, so that'll be ready to go. So next it's going to be ready to go is, as you see here already, I have one of the chickens in there. I have spiced on both sides, and I am dredging it in flour. I have my pan behind me. I am going to start getting that going on medium high, turn the light on, because I definitely want that to be nice and hot. Not overly hot, but medium high is a good starting point, because once I get the oil and butter in it, you want it to sizzle. I'm also going to be taking this, and once I'm done with the chicken, I'm going to saute this up so that it's translucent, and the flavors should be amazing. This is the first time I'm trying this recipe, so hopefully it will come out nice and tasty. So now with my chicken, use gloves, you can use a fork, use your hands. You can see nice. And so I will use a fork and just press down on it. Okay, see? You just want to make sure it is well done, well coated. And there you go. And you're going to have the strips going to open up. There are going to be some seasoning inside the strips. I do that because these are big. I didn't pound them out. You can slice them if you have a real big piece of chicken breast. But this is how I'm doing this one, just to see how it goes. If you're not comfortable with leaving anything, you just take some flour and just put it on the inside. To me, it's not going to make that much of a difference. It's the seasoning that I want, not so much more than the flour. But like I said, there you go. See, nice. And you can see the cut, so that this way everything can get in there and can cook nicely. I don't have to worry about if the chicken is not going to be properly cooked. So now with that said, I got my pan going. I can feel that it's hot. There's that medium high. Now I am going to take, if you do olive oil, do cooking olive oil. Try not to use the extra virgin or the extra virgin olive oil. Though you can use just regular virgin olive oil. But today I'm going to use vegetable oil. And you definitely want to put enough in the pan to coat it. You don't have to make it to where it soaks. You'll see the oil start to shimmer, which means that it is about ready to go. I also swirl around the pan. Don't get too crazy with it. That's just to coat the sides, to make sure nothing overly sticks. And then what I'll do is I will bring the pan over and show you what it's like when I put the chicken right into the pan. You'll be able to see the sizzle. Okay, now here we go. See, there's the sizzle going on there, right in the pan. Back on the stove. And now I'll cook it between 3 and 5 minutes on each side. But honestly, I usually a little bit more towards the 5. But I don't move it once it's in the pan, because then you need to let that flour to be able to stick onto the chicken. If you continually move it, it will take it off, and you don't want that. So just once it's in the pan, just leave it in the pan, and I will show you how that looks in the pan. You can see it's just frying right up. Adjust your heat if you need to so that it is not burning. And while that is going on, I am going to put my other chicken right in. So there's the seasoning side. I'm going to put it down. So the seasoning side is down. Give it a good mash so that it's getting the flour on it. And this is what I'll show you what I'm talking about. So I'm going to take my taco seasoning. This happens to be Simply Organic from Albertsons. And as you see, I'm just sprinkling at the top. You can coat it however heavy you feel you want to, but I'm going to save some because that is what's going to go in my sauce when I'm all said and done. Give it a good pat down. You can shake yours, right, and then lay it right over on your flour. And you can see, not all of it's been coated. I will fix that. You shouldn't have to throw a ton of flour. Just get enough to where it's on your plate. You can always add flour later. And I will show you what I'm talking about. I have my flour right here. And if I don't feel that it's enough, I can do one or two things. I can hand sprinkle it, or I can do just like everybody else does. Just give it a good shake on there. Nothing fancy, just hopefully just a nice dinner when it's all said and done. I'm going to take it and reflip. You can see nicely. Now time to come over to my pan. I'm going to take my chicken. And as you can see, nicely browned. And now it's on the other side. And I will take this over. You'll be able to see what it looks like in the pan. Nicely brown. And you can see on the inside, the flour's not burning. Everything is just A-okay. Unfortunately, we do have to wait for that. My butter, just so you know that once I got it ready to go, here, and you'll see it, I've actually cubed some So I pre-cubed some, about a half a stick of butter, because that's what's going to go in my sauce. I'll be coming in and out of the shot. It should be okay. Now this is going to be my liquid. I've got it all nice and dissolved. If I need to, in the microwave, make sure it's good and hot. But I won't worry about that until the time comes because I still have to finish my chicken. I've got about another minute. Also, tongs. If you like a nice pair of tongs, these are silicone tipped, very nice. These are from Hot Target. And what's nice about it, you push it in, they open up, you pull them out, you hit them against your body when you're cooking, and you don't have to do anything when you're done. You just put them off on the side, and if you pick them up and your hand's stuffing, you just hit them against your body, opens up. Really nice. Very nicely done, and the first one's gonna come off. All I'm gonna do is put it on a plate. I did not salt and pepper these. Please season these to taste. Now I'm gonna add a little bit more oil. And you do this because your oil is going to be lapped up by the flour. Again, just enough to be able to fry it up. Get it back hot again. You will see what's going to be in that pan. That's what I'm going to make my sauce with. So once that's all done, I'll add my liquid and I'll turn that into my sauce. Unfortunately, in real-time cooking, things take a little time. So I need to give it about another minute. It's not quite there to heat up. You can also, if you have to add more, look at your tidbits that are left over in the pan. Obviously, if they start to fry up, then you know your pan is hot enough. I'm also getting a little bit of smoke off, so it is time for me to add my next chicken. Okay, perfect, ready to go. Don't need the extra flour. The extra flour can just go right in. You can reserve just a little bit if you like, if you want your sauce to be a little bit tight. You can use a little bit once you get the butter in and everything and let it cook in, usually about another 5 minutes. And it'll tighten up your sauce so it's not so liquidy. Again, about 3 to 5 minutes on each side. And with this dinner, we're having corn and rice. So I will bring this back over and you can see it frying up. in the pan, and we are going to attempt to make this so that you can actually see the pan ready to go. There we go. These are camping saucepans, kind of, and I find that I really like using them. They're perfect for small stuff. As you can see. There we go. You can see how it is in the pan. You can see how it sizzles. Now just for everybody here, I did turn off the light. That's why it's a little dark, but it allows you to see what's going on a little bit more better. Again, you know, if you have to bring the heat down, bring the heat down. But not by much. Do not go under medium. Now, the slices that I put in the chicken, open it up, so that should allow it to cook a lot better, but still keep it moist because you're still stirring it in. You take it and flip it, you'll be able to see what it looks like. Okay. Nice. And I'm just going to let it finish up on that side. Your prep time's probably about 8 to 10 minutes. It's not a big deal. And you can see right here in the corner how it's bubbling. That is still frying it up. The oil's still nice and hot. And this is called a heavy pan. If you hear people call things heavy pans, you have the regular non-stick pans. The non-stick pans are fine, but there's nothing going to brown better than a heavy pan. And this is, you can see in here, aluminum. This is what they mean by a non-heavy pan. You see it's just a non-stick pan, nothing really heavy about it. Good for all around things. This is a heavy pan. This is also my cast iron. Cast iron is also a heavy pan. They don't mean weight. They just mean that it's able to absorb that heat and brown things a lot better than a Teflon pan. Okay, this chicken is done as well. You can see what it looks like right there. Off to the side, I have a plate right underneath the camera. So this is actually what it's going to look like. Don't have to worry about it dripping all over anything. So now, here's my oil. So what I'm going to do is, now I'm going to put my butter in it. And bring it down to straight medium. I don't want to burn the butter. And then what I'm going to also do is Smash some garlic. Now I just have 3 cloves that I'm putting in. And then I'm also going to take my onions, my Anaheim pepper, and my garlic on the bottom and put that in. Now, these are the tongs I was telling you about. The seed foam. And you'll be able to take, if you take a look underneath, you'll see that this is all flavor that's right here. And that will come off. It's called deglazing the pan. And the flour that's in here will also tighten up the sauce as well. So you don't need, with these, you don't need a whisk, anything. This is fine. And I'm just going to let it go. Keep it on medium. I'm going to put it between medium and low. Now with that said, I'm also going to put in my taco seasoning, and it does say to bring to a boil over medium heat. So I'm going to go back up to medium and put high, spice right in it. You see it's going to start tightening up, but that's where the water, the chicken bouillon come in handy. All this is just doing is just basically cooking the flour, cooking the spices. And it does say just reduce it to your desired texture. But when you're always dealing with flour in a pan, you should always let it go a couple of 3 to 5 minutes. You want to cook that flour, otherwise it's going to have a flour taste. You can see still there, that's not going to come off yet, but you can see the rest of the pan, how it's nice and shiny. Now I'm going to add my chicken stock. And that will help deglaze the pan. If you take a look right here, you can see it coming right off. I'm not putting a lot of pressure on it, but you can see it coming right off. And that's how it's going to be with the rest of the pan. You do the same thing. And then I'm going to put my lime juice. Now this is Organics, again, Albertsons. About 1/4 to 1/2 cup. Just depends on how much you like lime juice. You can always add more later to a certain degree, but this is going to go right in the sauce. So what I'm going to do is bring it to medium high because I want to bring it to a boil, and you'll see it won't take that long. And once I get it up to a boil, make sure it's all. I'm going to bring it to medium low, and I'm just going to let it simmer. Now you don't want it to burn, so that's why you keep stirring it occasionally, but occasionally soon. Give that a little taste to see how it goes. Oh yeah, that tastes really nice. You can still see it's boiling. It's got that little shimmer boiling going on. Now, just to speed things up quick, I am going to go a little bit more into the medium. And you'll start seeing it boiling a little bit more. And now this sauce is going to go directly on the chicken. It's also going to go directly on the rice. Now as you feel it, you'll feel the deglazing as I showed you. You'll see there's no more. Down there, all that came off. It will all come off. I know you're going to say it's a little bit runnery, you know, that you like a little bit more thick. If you like a little more thick, that's where that little extra I told you to save, you can just put right in. Now by doing this, you stir it in. And really the best way to do it also, so that you don't get clumps, cold water. You put your flour in cold water, just a little, and you'll see that it will just melt like that. And that is actually the better way to do it. Now you'll start seeing that it is beginning to thicken up. Not as runny. And you can do one or two things at this point. You have your plate. You can do it two ways. Take your chicken, you can put it back in this sauce, kind of like you do chicken piccata. And I will do one like that, and I will leave the other to put sauce on top. Because I know what you're thinking, well, the chicken should be cold by now. Well, not really. Be surprised. See chicken right back in. And we're just going to give it a couple of minutes. Plus the flour that's on the chicken will also help thicken up the sauce. Put it on one side. Okay, and now a minute on the other side. How's that look? there's one. You see, it's still bubbling. It's a little bit thicker. And I'll take the other chicken. You just pour right down the middle. If you don't like a lot of sauce, you don't have to overdo it. Put as much as you want on. And that is how we do a Southwest chicken. I hope you've enjoyed. Press like if you do, so I know. Subscribe. I always come up with a lot of different things at any given time if you would like to follow me. And if not, then I hope you enjoyed the video and good eating.